Hey besties, just a little trigger warning. In this episode, we'll be discussing some sensitive topics such as anti-Semitism, sexism, politics, and stupid bitches. If these topics aren't for you, please check back for future episodes, and if you stuck around, please enjoy the episode. So, hello. I am Amari.
I'm Zach.
And this is Talk and Be Funny, name pending.
Name pending. Well, we may not be that funny.
Speak for yourself.
You're right, that's fair. I may not be that funny. Amari is hilarious and will always be the funniest person in the room. Me, on the other hand, really kind of a crapshoot if I'm funny or not.
You have your
intrinsically,
moment.
because I'm Jewish, I should be funny. So my comedic timing is there, but it really just depends on the situation, if I'm funny or not.
Period. Love that. I love your confidence.
Do you remember that the Jennifer Aniston video with the child with cancer, where the kid's like, "My mom says I'm special," and Jennifer Aniston looks like dead serious and is like, "I love your confidence," and then turns back to the camera. That's you to me.
Every day.
Every day. Actually, one of our topics of conversation will be me. I am the topic of conversation. When we talk about it, we call it stupid bitches. I am stupid bitches.
Stop. Okay.
So how are you? How is Amari doing?
Oh, I am good. I'm a little tired. There is a lot going on, like, in my, like, space right now. Like, so many things I'm trying to, like, juggle and, like, accomplish and do and get done by, like, a certain time. It's so crazy. So we're buying a house.
Oof.
Like, by July. And that, like, we just decided, like, today, because, like, whatever, I talked to my parents and, like, we figured all the logistics out and everything. So going and actually, like, viewing the houses at this stage and, like, about to close and, like, move. Oh, my God, it's so stressful. It is so stressful. I've never, like, I thought buying a car was stressful because it took all day, literally all day.
Right.
No, man. This is something different. And it's like a forever home, so you have to make the right decision.
Well, I mean, does it have to be a forever home? I mean, you could, like, it's going to be one of those things where, like, you could easily move at some point. Not easily, like, you could move. But, I mean, if the market is still trash, because we're about to hit a recession, then maybe stay.
I don't know, honestly. I really don't know.
Fair enough. I mean, my parents, they lived in the same house for 30 years.
Yeah. And that's why I just want, like, somewhere we can just stay for a long period of time. Like, I don't want to move again if I have to, whatever. But it's just, like, I feel like so much pressure. And it might just be my brain, like, pick the right house and get the right, like, it has to be perfect and stuff like that. But I'm learning I have to compromise because nowhere is going to meet my standards. Let's be for real.
What's funny is I was just talking to somebody about... I love just bouncing around. I mean, you know, I lived in a myriad of different locations in Kansas City. I live in New York now, so I'm like, you and me are completely opposite in those regards, where you're like, I just want to be in a place that I can call forever, and like, I'd rather just bounce. I'd rather just, like, hop. I like hopping. I mean, I don't necessarily love uprooting my life every time I have to move, but, you know, it is what it is. Have you found that the prospects of moving to a new house, because I'm always like, when I move to a different place, I'm always like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, and so I don't really want to unload everything, or I don't want to, like, get a ton of stuff. Are the prospects of being in a forever place give you a little bit more sense of security or a little bit more ease to be like, you know what, I'm going to move into this place, and I'm just, like, inch by inch, I'm going to be able to feel better about the things that I'm going to put in here to make it my own, rather than I have to be careful about it.
For sure. Like, even here in this space, we haven't even unloaded, like, a whole room, like, full of stuff, because honestly, I don't feel like going through it, because it's just going to end up back in bags anyway, back in boxes, all that stuff. I don't even want to, like, undo our laundry. Our laundry hasn't been in baskets, folded, of course, it's clean, but it's been in baskets and, like, boxes and everything for, like, the entire time we've been here 2 months. Because I don't want to unload all that stuff because I'm just going to have to put it back. And, like,
yeah.
We bought, like, furniture. So I'm like, ugh, that's going to be, like, a pain in the ass, too. Like, when we move.
When are you guys moving?
But we need furniture, so.
When are you guys moving? Like, what's your moving
July.
date? July? I'll be back in Kansas City in July if y'all need help. Especially
Like
with
July
truck.
1st.
Because I have a truck.
That means we'll have 3 trucks. I feel like we could do this in one. I'm like, okay, this is my toxic trait. My toxic trait is I'm a one-trip girl.
Yeah.
I don't like taking multiple trips. So I'm like, if we have 3 trucks, because my dad has a truck, he has a truck, and you have a truck, we could, like, make this move in one trip.
We could.
We don't have to come back.
There you go.
But yeah, no, that's going on, and then working. I've been getting booked like crazy, which is good.
That's great. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, it is very exciting. It's just like, and school on top of that, and like stacking all those things up against each other, and like just random things that people ask me to do. It is a little stressful.
Totally.
It's a little stressful. It is. But yeah, other than that, I feel fine. I feel like I'm back in like my mode, like from when did I start performing? Like 7 to now, I've always been busy all the time. I'm super busy all the time, and so I feel like I'm back in that mode now, and so it feels comfortable for me. But it is a little stressful, especially the buying the house part. So stressful.
I cannot even imagine. I cannot imagine
I'm
buying
having
a house
fun though. I will be super happy with the end result.
Well, good. As you should be. As you slay.
As I slay you what you want to slay, and let the world slow out.
I sang that the other day, and I referenced it to someone. They were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, I have made a complete ass of myself then.
No, they just don't get it.
They're not using their brain. They're not thinking.
They don't.
They don't think the way that we think.
They just don't. Anyway, she wasn't slaying.
She was not slaying.
But how are you?
I'm good. It's been very nice weather here in New York City.
Good.
I'm going to be back in Kansas City on Thursday, which I'm excited for. I'm excited to see all of my friends and my family.
Mm-hmm.
It will be okay.
Oh, don't do it.
I'm not gonna do it, girl. I'm not
do
gonna do it. Yes, I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see my other friends and my family. I haven't been there since January 1st, so 4 months, and then I'll be back in July. So I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I have some fun writing gigs. That's really why I'm out here. If anybody was wondering why I'm in New York, it is not. I mean, it's theater related, but it's not necessarily like, I was talking to my friend Chip today, and he was like, "How's New York? Do you like New York?" Yeah, Chip Skylark. My son had teeth and me. What a great song. But I was talking about why I was in New York, and I was like, the thing I really wanted to be in New York was just anonymous. Because in Kansas City, in Kansas City Theater, I'm not saying that I was the most popular individual, but
Yeah, but you're not anonymous, girl.
Right, but I'm not anonymous in Kansas City Theater. And so I was like, I just wanted to be, and the reason I didn't tell anybody for months was because I didn't want anybody to have any preconceived idea of why I needed to be out there. So when I told people, because I moved March 1st, but I didn't tell anybody until I was in town. And I think done with Heather's, and that was July. And so when I finally told people, the only questions I ever got were what I was auditioning for, or, am I out there to be a performer, or what am I directing in New York? And I'm like, I don't know, not really. I just want to exist, and I want to, I want to find what makes me happy, and I want to find who I am outside of the theatrical world that I was only really known for in Kansas City. And so it's been really fun to just kind of do that. But now I have some theater jobs, writing for theater, some relatively big projects, which
As you should. As you should.
Which I'm not necessarily.
Come on, girl. Don't be acting shy now.
Which I'm not necessarily like some of the I'm not necessarily publicly allowed to talk about it on big platforms. But if you asked me, I would tell you what they are, or at least one of them what it is. So that's what I'm doing out here. It's been really fun. I had to, on one of the shows that I'm writing, I had to have a deadline for the producer by March, the end of March. So I turned in that draft, which was really fun. Everything's going okay. I am very happy. It's not just a little tired, but I'm very happy.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I bet you are tired walking 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah, I walk 18 to 24,000 steps a day. Or at least I try to. If I don't, it's totally, it's fine. So I think the highest I've ever walked was 36.
Goodness gracious.
It's life. It's life. Girl.
Is it? Are you really living?
I don't know. I think I'm living. I think I'm okay.
Stop.
And the next thing that our listeners can expect is this segment we like to call Let's Talk About It. A segment where we just have a topic of conversation that both of us, we're like, why don't we discuss what this is? Here's a topic of conversation we can, just chat as friends.
So for this segment, I think we should say the name on 3. I love that you called it Let's Talk About It.
Yeah, I mean that's such a I think a Gen Z or millennial TikTok thing. It's like, hey, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
It's so we're just gonna have a topic of conversation. It's gonna be like a conversation that we would have in our living room, and then all we just have our microphones on each other. So yeah, but you said on 3 we're gonna say it.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking at my nose and it's like so round it goes into my face. But anyway,
That's
yes,
how
on
noses
3.
Work.
Stop. Okay. 1, 2,
3.
Let's talk about.
Oh, I thought we were naming the topic of conversation. I was about to go stupid bitches. Okay, on 3, let's talk about it.
Okay.
1, 2,
3. Let's talk about it.
Ooh.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about those notes.
So what are we talking about today, Zach?
Well, the topic of conversation that you would like, when I asked you, I said, what should we talk about? You said, well, why don't we talk about stupid bitches?
Why you gotta put the topic on me? What if people don't like it? Then they're gonna fucking send me death threats.
I'm gonna be the one sending you death threats. What are you talking about? And I'm already doing that, so what's the difference? Like, what's new? So it's called Stupid Bitches, and I guess I should ask, because I didn't ask this, why do you want to talk about stupid bitches?
Listen,
Amari?
I don't know. Like, people have been really just, like, getting on my nerves lately, and it's not like, whatever, like, I just don't know. Like, my patience has been so thin, especially at work, where my patience needs to be thick as a rock. Okay. Like, working like the register or like being in front of people's faces all day, like literally 3 times last week 3 separate people tried to like start arguing with me or like fight me at work. I'm like, girl, why am I being nice to you and you being mean to me? You're dumb.
That is the that is the thing that I have been learning a lot about in New York. And the thing that I've grown into, especially since 2020, I mean, I've always been this way, but especially in 2020, is this idea of you're going to get the respect that you give. So if you are going to be awful to me behind the counter, or if you're going to be awful to me out in public because it does not affect you to be nice to people, then I don't feel the need to have to respect you in any certain way. If I say hi and the first thing the first thing for you to do is comment negatively on me or ask me a question rather than say hello back, then what's this about?
Yep. Like, people have just been being like so rude, and it's actually so stupid because like And this is another reason why I don't want people moving to the Midwest, because y'all are bringing your whatever rudeness, whatever nonsense that your parents raised you with over in those other areas, and are ruining my life and my experience. Stay over there.
Stay over there. I cannot tell you how awful it's been living in a tourist city.
God. It sucked. And I know it's just going to get worse with the draft and the World Cup.
Right. And the stadium moving downtown. Like, you know, they're just
oh my God. Like, nobody wants that. Why are they moving that Hello, whoever is listening to this, if you have any pull in that stadium going downtown, kill yourself.
Whoa. Listen.
He's literally at a loss for words. Right
yes,
now.
But also, maybe rethink putting it downtown. Killing yourself.
Just keep it where it is. The team is not even good. People still go to the games.
Right. People still go to the games regardless. Your team could suck. Like, people still go to Yankees games.
Okay. They ride for them Yankees, and them bitches haven't even won a game since 1965. Like, come on.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Yes. So how stupid? The stupid bitches truly.
They are stupiding.
The stupid bitches of the week are the people that decided that the baseball stadium needed to go downtown. And here's the thing: I'm all for downtown stadiums. You know, I think that large cities, there are lots of cities, large monopolizing cities, that have stadiums downtown. However, most stadiums downtown have or most cities that have stadiums downtown have better infrastructure, specifically for like public transit
and walkability,
and walkability, which we in the Midwest just don't have. When I try to tell people in New York,
it does not work.
When I try to tell people what it's like to live in Kansas City, I'm like, imagine you took a tiny section of New York and just spread it out. And that's what Kansas City is like. And they're like, oh, so you can walk in Kansas City. I'm like, no, you can't really walk in Kansas City unless you're in, like, the heart of downtown. If you live in Midtown... And you can
only walk downtown. You can't walk anywhere else. You can't walk to Westport, but you're going to be out of breath, like, for real.
Right, exactly, because from the River Market to the Plaza is still, you know, like, what, 3 miles, 4 miles?
Yes.
You know, if that... I mean, I haven't driven that in a while, so I don't remember what it is, but it's drivable. It's not a place for you to walk, but those are all major like points in the downtown area. You know, if you're going to make a day of downtown, you're going to want to hit the River Market, you're going to want to go to Midtown, you're going to want to go to the Plaza and Westport and XYZ. So just stop, you know, and so on top of that, to have an entire baseball stadium in the middle, what is the point? And to remove all of the the low income housing and that is down there, to be able to put that stadium where it's going to be.
Exactly. Like the redlining is already bad. The gentrification is already bad. But to misplace those people when there is a perfectly good stadium already built that people like to go to and there's ample parking.
Yeah.
Stop. What about the tailgating? Like you're gonna like ruin it.
I lived over by those stadiums, like literally down the street. I don't know if you ever went to my old house when I lived with a few roommates, and we lived right down the street from the stadiums, and it was a nightmare almost every Sunday to get out of, and that's an open area. I mean, you know, it is so awful to get out of that traffic because people are just morons. People are just morons when they drive.
Downtown.
Right.
Oh my God. No.
Right. Where people already don't want to go downtown. I'm not saying that people love going downtown. The problem that I remember in Kansas City in the suburbs, at least in where it is now, people could avoid downtown because it was still a relatively, like, I wouldn't say safe area, but I know I know so many people from the suburbs that refuse to go downtown because they don't think it's safe. And I'm like, okay. The line that in Hamilton I always think about is there's nothing rich folks love more than going downtown and slumming it with the poor. And that's just how suburban life people think.
Like,
is
even
that,
in Little Shop, it's like uptown and da-na-na-na-na. In the first song, it's like always uptown, and then we're like downtown where the folks are broke.
Right. So
downtown just has a bad rap in general, which is strange because all the bitches that live down there are rich.
They're not as rich as the people that live out in, like the Johnson County areas or the Carriage Hills or whatever, but,
I think I think it's like a good mix. It's like the poor people and then like all the like athletes and their girlfriends and like all the whatever big content creators and what they live in those luxury apartments down there.
Yeah.
Because those apartments are so much money actually, and I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Right. Well, I knew somebody that lived in. I've known a few people that actually live in those.
You went in there?
Apartments.
Was it nice?
I've never been in, but I've known people that live in those.
We need to break in.
The people from the guys from Queer Eye stayed in one of those.
I met them when they were here. I have a picture.
Do you remember that I was supposed to be? I was supposed to be on it, but do you remember that I was almost on it? I ever tell you that?
On it.
I told you that story, right?
No. Tell the story.
So, a few people that shall remain nameless, but love them dearly, nominated me to be on that show, which, thinking about it in retrospect, is not...
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
it's not necessarily... Well, I mean, remember my style was bad, and my attitude and behavior was bad, and...
When?
I mean... Has
that changed? Or
No, it's never changed. It does not change.
Oh, okay.
But but they nominated me for it, and I got contacted by the producers to have that. And the house I was living in at the time, I was living in the attic, and they did not want the attic to be renovated. It would have been the whole house. It would have been a $65,000 renovation. And they did not want it because they didn't, as a gay person, they were like, well, I don't want them coming in here and thinking that one gay person couldn't be a friend to you, so they needed 5 others. It was a weird thing. And so I tried to move out, and it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But it would have been really cool. I tried to live in the arts asylum for a little bit of time as well, because one of the angles that they really liked was the guy that owned a theater company and lived in the same building that he ran it out of. Couldn't do that either.
Why?
So it just, the timing was off. It was okay.
Do people live in that building? Because I saw
in the old arts asylum. Yeah, it was an apartment complex.
So what happened to those people when they tore down?
The arts asylum didn't get torn down. It's still existing.
That building is? Yeah,
it just doesn't exist as an apartment complex because everybody moved out in 2020.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, so everybody moved out of the building in 2020. They had lost.
Sworn that thing got torn down.
No, they all lost. No, so most of the tenants moved out in 2020. So they lost a lot of their income, and when they were coming back, they decided that they were just going to move. So the tenants had enough time to relocate, but it got bought up by somebody else. But it did not get torn down. No,
it was such a cool building.
I know, I love it, and I miss it every single day. I love that building. I like the new building. I like our new building a lot, but I do miss that old building.
It's not that building had lights in the walls, and it was
I grew up with that building as an artist. As an artist, I grew up with that building.
Your first building.
So I have a sentimental attachment to that building.
Let's buy it back.
Yeah, you got $3 million?
Why is it $3 million?
I don't know. I'm just saying. You got $3 million?
I mean, I could ask somebody.
No, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so
any rich people out there want to make us happy, give us $3 million. Actually, give me $5 million.
Right, I'll take 5. But yeah,
give me $5 million, and I'll let you kiss my hand.
I've done a lot more for a lot less.
Oh my God!
I'm just kidding.
No, you got caught in 4K. No, he meant that.
Yeah, you're right. The person that me of all people, has done a lot more for a lot less.
I mean, as you should. Period.
I'm just kidding. You
were doing charity.
You're right. It was for charity. That's really what it was for.
You're so, what is it called? Philanthropic.
Yeah. Yeah, philanthropic. Thank you. I did. I took many an entrepreneurship class throughout the pandemic.
Can you tell me something? Speaking of stupid bitches, how have you been in New York this whole time and haven't robbed one single rich person?
Surprisingly, it's much harder to rob rich people in New York City because the security is so much higher. Not that I've tried, and if anybody on this podcast, if anybody on the podcast is thinking that they're like, "Oh, Zach has been trying to like rob people in New York," no, I haven't been trying. This podcast will tell you that I have not been trying.
Listen. If I'm in New York, just know I'm trying to rob people.
You were just in New York, and you lived in my apartment for a week. Did you try to rob me?
People. Rich people.
Broke people should never laugh.
I'm rich. I'm rich in love. I'm rich in heart and friendship.
No,
and
rich in money.
Also, here's the thing. A lot of New Yorkers, specifically where I live on the Upper East Side, so many of them are Jewish, and I'm not robbing from Jews. I can't rob from my own people.
Well, I won't rob the Sephardic Jews. I'm going to rob the other type of Jews. What are they called?
There's several. There's Ashkenazi. Which
What's
are
that?
They're the more Eurocentric white Jews.
I'm gonna rob them.
Okay, cool.
No,
yes,
don't wait. Nobody take this clip out of context. I will only rob the rich, what they call Ashkenazi.
Why don't you just say rich people? Just
I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because that's gonna sound anti-Semitic as fuck, and I'm not. But I'm gonna only rob white rich bitches.
You just say yes.
I am not Kanye, y'all. I swear to God.
There are.
Speaking of stupid bitches.
Yeah. Who are the stupid bitches? You call the Jews the stupid bitches?
Watching 21. Was it 21 Jump Street?
Oh, Kanye, stupid bitch. Yeah, we don't even know. We're not even gonna, so today on today's podcast, the stupid bitches of the week are the people that are trying to build the stadium downtown and Kanye West for saying that 21 Jump Street cured his anti-Semitism. Like, good for him.
Well, I also think that I feel like, okay, this is gonna sound dumb. I don't think it's going to sound anti-Semitic. But, like, I feel like if people knew... Like, I did not know that Beanie Feldstein and... What's his name?
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. I did not know that they were Jewish. I feel like if people knew that these people were, like... You know what I mean? Like, that
you couldn't...
that you wouldn't...
The name Beanie Feldstein didn't give you Jew?
Well, now that you say it out loud... But what I'm saying is, if they knew that all these people, different people were Jewish, like somebody else was Jewish the other day that I found out, and I was like, oh my God, I love her so much, like, period. I feel like if these people knew, they would not be anti-Semitic.
I just think you shouldn't be anti-Semitic regardless of who's Jewish or who's Jewish.
The car said no.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think that people should just be like cool with Jews regardless if you know somebody Jewish or not.
My chicken burning. My chicken burning.
Something's burning. That's Jews, Amari, because of your comments. Oh my God. For those of you that are listening and don't know, even though you could probably just smell it on me, I am Jewish. I am very Jewish. Both of my birth parents are Jewish. My father's an Iraqi Jew, and my mother is a Sephardic Jew. So I feel as though I have some impetus to say I can speak on Jewishness and Judaism.
Period. Tell them you Sephardic.
I did just say I was Sephardic, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about being Jewish while you were away. So if you do hear a lot of comments about being Jewish or a lot of jokes about the Jews, just know it's coming from a Jewish person. Yeah. So anyway, also, to recap, the stupid bitches of the week are the people that are trying to build the Kansas City stadium downtown, Kanye West because of 21 Jump Street curing his anti-Semitism, and Amari Lewis for the comments that she just made about the Jews.
Wait, no, okay. You know what? I just found out, speaking of anti-Semitism, I just
God.
found out that people... Okay, well, this is something that somebody at work told me. They said, because my other coworker was like, why do people not like the Jewish people? And I was like, girl, I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't get it either. Like, they don't look that different or whatever. And my other coworker came up and she was like, it's because, like, historically, like, they were the ones that killed Jesus. And, like, I was like, why would you hold a grudge that long?
I mean, here's the thing.
And he rose. Like, it's not like he stayed in the ground. Like, why are y'all mad?
Listen, Jews can hold grudges for the longest amount of time, but Jews are also the first I just shared something today.
Like the first religion.
Not the first religion, but like the first oppressed individuals.
Yeah.
They are the people that were there from the beginning of time. The thing that, I mean, there's so many reasons why people hate Jews, and especially with like, how rampant anti-Semitism is now. Yes, the killing of Jesus, even though Jesus was a Jew himself, that is on a religious facet.
They're mad for no reason.
Right. There is stuff about, I mean, there's just stereotypes of, like, witchcraft and blood libels and toxic bloodlines and owning all the money and like controlling every single thing. I knew a guy that thought that the entire world was run by a small council of Jews. He was an old coworker of mine, and for an entire week I convinced him that I was part of that council.
Stop! Why?
Yeah, he's also an anti-vaxxer. He's an idiot. He also was a flat earther.
You should have got him to give you all his money.
Every opportunity I had, I would have phone conversations with quote unquote executive Jews, and then just stop talking when he was around. So anyway, there's a lot of reasons, but I will say that a misconception that a lot of people have is that Jewishness and Judaism is just a religion, and that's not the case. And I do want to clear that up. But before the 19th century, it was if you hated the Jews, it was anti-Jew. It was anti-Judaism because Jewishness and Judaism was it was more of a culture, and it was also a religion. But then in the 19th century, when it was you could trace Jewishness through DNA because of the unique characteristics of Jews, it became anti-Semitism. And so the thing about Jews and the thing about Judaism and the thing about Jewishness that people need to understand, because it comes a lot down to it comes into representation on stage. And I mean, that's such a small facet of the argument that Jews talk about wanting to be seen, that Jewishness, Judaism predates the definition of what Western people believe, like the Western definitions of religion and culture and ethnicity, and so because it is all literally wrapped up into one thing, and so when I see people that this is such a small argument to make, but when I see people that want to take Jewish roles on stage, but they themselves are not Jewish, it's because they're like, well, it's just a religion, and I wouldn't stop a Catholic from playing a Catholic, or I wouldn't stop a Christian from playing a Christian. Well, no, it's completely different. Being a Jew is completely different. There's a completely different struggle that is there. 6 million people were exterminated because somebody had a prejudice against Jewish people, and it has been like that since the beginning of time. That there has been just a prejudice against Jewish people. I mean, but the thing is that also anti-Semitism and anti-Judaism is ingrained in people's brains. That's the other scary thing is that people in the media, when they're like, the people will make the argument, oh well, Jews control the media and Jews control Hollywood. Well, then they wouldn't make these stereotypic tropes about themselves. They would not make these stereotypic tropes of long noses and big and gross, long, spindly fingers and ugly hair and blah blah blah. Like they wouldn't do that and make themselves look villainous and be the villains in these stories if they really controlled everything. They don't. There's this contradictory narrative about Jews that exists, and it's dumb. But also, when a Jewish person tells you, "Hey, these things are anti-Semitic," or "Hey, these things are." Maybe we shouldn't be doing these things, and you go, well, I don't really want to listen to you at all. I don't really care what you think, and you're invalidating their Jewishness. That's not good. And the amount of, especially recently, I have been invalidated for my Jewishness, even when I am the token Jew for a lot of people, and you could probably go to any Jewish person that you know and ask them how they feel, if they feel seen or if they feel represented or if they feel validated in their Jewishness by their friends, and I can guarantee you 99.9 of them are going to tell you, no, I don't actually, and how about we talk about it? And that. I mean, 100% I'm sure you understand that. And I'm not saying that our struggles are at all the same in those regards, but I do think that you and I both understand tone policing and both understand that, hey, we're not trying to start arguments, but because ourselves are just being called into question, and the validity of who we are as individuals is coming into question, I think that we have a right to ask questions. Yeah.
And I don't think, I don't feel offended if you, compare the two, because they're comparable. Colonialism and whatever, white people have affected all of us. And so, whatever. I think it also, if I got offended, that would invalidate the people that share both, the intersectional people. So, I'm not...
100%, and I think that there's definitely an intersectionality that is with Jews and black people, and really just any other marginalized group. But because, and this is another thing I want to clarify, because there are so many white Jews, because there are so many Ashkenazi Jews, and there are just Eurocentric Jews, being Jewish does not exonerate you from being white. There are white Jews, but then there are people that are Sephardic Jews or black Jews or there are, or Hispanic Jews. There are a subsection of people that also share not just a Jewish bloodline, or they practice Judaism, or they practice Judaism culturally. They are also people of color, and so I do want to just make that distinction, that just because somebody is Jewish does not make them not white, but they still have a marginalized struggle. And I think that there are so many people that are ignoring the struggle that not just POC Jews feel, but all Jews in general feel and experience, just because some might be white. And many people and most people in the world just think that Jews are or Judaism is just a religion. It's no, there are so many different nuances and factions that we experience that are not just religiously based. So they don't want to accept the intersectionality, because they're well, you guys don't feel it because you guys still have. Because again, it's that inherent, you own this, you have this, you blah blah blah. You can,
which is so strange, because it's not. I think that
it's not that way.
Yeah, if you really want to be mad at someone, be mad at the 2%. They're the ones that are keeping you poor. They're the ones that are taking all the good opportunities. It's not the Jews, girl.
Be mad at the 8.5 by 11s, not the Jews. Now, there are some awful Jews out there, 100%, but that can be about anybody.
Anybody else,
people.
Exactly.
Right. So, and it also goes to this, the most recent. God, I don't even want to go down this road because we don't have time for it. But it goes down that road of the most recent shooting that just happened, and it was a trans individual, and so the right wing were just this is the America that that liberals want, and blah blah blah, and it's we don't really care how anybody identifies. They're a school shooter. That's what they identify as, and do you know how many non-trans individuals, or do you know how many, not non-trans, do you know how many cis individuals are the ones that have been shooting up schools? And we don't talk about the gender or how they
what
identify
they look
at
like,
all,
yeah.
what they look like at all. But because this one happened to be a trans individual, all of a sudden that is the fear mongering tactic that you can go off of, and that is just how Jews have been portrayed for so long, is just this fear mongering tactic, of this, that, and the other thing. So. There is definitely an intersectional struggle that we all feel, that we as a marginalized group feel with other marginalized groups that are not white, but you, in your activism and advocacy, need to also stand up for the Jews, because we can't just stand up for ourselves.
Yeah. But no, they get on my nerves. Like, I didn't understand I didn't understand the anti-Semitism at all. Like, I still don't, honestly. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get the point, but...
We could have a whole podcast just about the anti-Semitism that is so rampant and continues to be rampant, but we're not that. We are a podcast about talking and having fun. We're talking to be funny. And let me tell you, anti-Semitism is not funny.
It's not funny.
But the Jews were hilarious.
Yes, I agree.
Do you have any other topic for stupid bitches, or do you want to go?
I mean, other than, like, the only stupid bitches I can think of are, like, I don't know. Like, there are so many, like, sub-genres of, like, stupid bitches in my head.
Okay.
Like, the bitches that go on TikTok live every day. Stupid bitches. The ones that are doing not podcasts like this, but, like, you know, those male, like, podcasts, like Andrew Tate Forum type podcasts. Mm-hmm. Those people.
Stupid bitches.
Yeah. Them. And, like, just the misogyny in general. Like, I don't know if this is, like, makes me chronically online or not, but, like, just the misogyny in general has been getting on my last nerve, like, for real. Like, online, like, it's getting annoying.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, all the podcasts talking about women should do this and women should do that. Shut the fuck up!
People can do whatever they want to. Women do not have to do whatever you think that they have to do.
Who cares? Who cares if she's a sex worker? We don't. She's making her money.
Okay, and so that brings up a little bit of a stupid bitch conversation about stupid bitch Donald Trump, because, you know, he's getting indicted tomorrow. He's going into the courthouse tomorrow.
What does that mean? Indicted
here in New York. He was indicted on charges, so, you know, they found that he needs to go to trial, essentially, because there are charges against him. For the cover-up of hush money, or paying hush money to Stormy Daniels.
Who is that?
Stormy Daniels is a sex worker that Trump had an affair with, and then, from my understanding of it, his lawyer paid Stormy Daniels $130,000.
That is not a lot.
As hush money, and then paid it back through political campaign funds. Yeah. My hope and my nervousness about all of this, because the amount of times I keep seeing people go, well, how are, you know, like, the people that believe in your values now, how do you feel, you know, like, blah, 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 blah. You know, what do you think of your Christian values now? Or, you know, my nervousness is that the legitimacy and business of sex work is going to be even more negatively impacted and have a bad perception because of all of this. Your values as a Christian or as a human being or whatever does not have to define what you're doing in your work. You know, some people see sex work use sex work as just sex. Like, that is their job. That is their profession.
Mm-hmm. It's what they do. Put food on the table.
It's what they do to put food on the table. Some people are actors. Some people are, you know, servers. Some people are bartenders. Like, some people are accountants. However you make your money, we live in a world, in a late stage capitalistic world. It does not matter how people are getting their money. Let them get their bread. Let them get it. But I am nervous that people think that the values that sex workers have is different than somebody else's values, when making money, making ends meet, trying to provide for themselves and their family are values that we all share. Mm-hmm. just
which I hate, by the way, that like you go ahead and finish.
No, you're good.
No, I was just saying I hate that, by the way. Like, the people thinking that, like, just because they're sex workers, they are less like that. Like, bitch, you are a cashier at Family Dollar. Let's be honest about whose value is more.
Yeah. And I see a lot of, like, I've seen a lot of my... on Facebook, I'll see a lot of my friends that identify either as liberal or as left, and they still are like, well, what do you think of this values now? And I understand that it is in a way to jab back at the individuals that think that sex work is bad, but that is still you implying that sex work is bad, or that the people that are sex workers, or that sex workers are not, like, they inherently share the same values. So instead of saying things of like, you know, what do you think about your values now, or blah, 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 instead be like, hey, sex work is still legitimate work, and they share the same values, and I'm very happy that this sex worker decided to speak out against somebody whose values actually are trash.
Yep.
You know?
I also just don't understand the outrage behind sex work if they pay taxes. Like, they pay taxes. Like, they do all the other shit.
You know who
that
doesn't
we
pay
do.
taxes? Churches don't pay taxes.
Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes.
Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes. And you are expected to, like, when you stand up to people like that, when you stand up for anybody like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, you know,
none of those bitches pay taxes, by the way. I just want you to know that.
And not even that. They're not going to see they're not going to see you stand up for them. They don't care. They just want
you to keep spending your money.
Right. They exist in a system that they are benefiting, and not just benefiting from, but also had a hand in creating. They're benefiting from a system that is working by you continuing to spew into them. You know? Like, chill out. If you're so upset...
the people... Wait.
Yeah. Those are all the stupid bitches. Those are the stupid
people
bitches.
that defend those guys for making their own, like, being self-made and whatnot... Shut the hell up. You are part of the stupid bitches now. You're part of the list right after me. Stop. Stop doing that. They don't give a fuck about you, and they would sell you for the next $1,000 or whatever, how much you'll cost. Probably not that fucking much because you're fucking idiots. But still, like, they don't care about you at all. They'd rather get your fucking life insurance policy or something.
Yep, that's all that they want. They do. You are a cog in their machine.
They're scam artists.
Yep.
If they don't care about the fucking billions of children that are making their shit, they do not give a fuck about you.
So many of them could pull themselves together and figure out a way to fix the systems, but because the system is working for them, it doesn't matter.
They're not going to. Like, what's his face could end world hunger several times over and just doesn't want to.
Nope. Because
and still have a fortune. And end world hunger.
Right, but we are built on a system that is that thrives off of keeping the poor.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the whole redlining thing in Missouri, in Kansas City, and bringing the fucking, you know, the stadium downtown. Mm-hmm. It is like we are keeping the poor, and we are making the rich even richer. Stupid bitches. And in a why don't we shift gears a little bit from our rant and our topics, and why don't we talk about our hottie habits? So for those of you that are listening,
you're welcome.
Hottie habits are things that we do to make ourselves feel better, and that are helping us be better. And you know, and that's something that we can all do every week. We can do it every day. Just things that, you know, that are our hobby habits. Amari, what are your hobby habits? What are your hobbies?
Okay. My hottie habits. I don't know what you were buffering, girl. My hottie habits.
I had network connectivity problems.
No, for real. You was in 720p. So my hottie habits this week actually are, I've been wearing sunscreen every day. I know it's like a small thing, but wearing sunscreen every day after like believing the myth that black people don't have to wear sunscreen. And I've been doing this for a while, not just this week, but like doing it after so long, my skin like always feels super light now. Like I don't feel like, yeah, my skin absorbs the sun and it gets dark or whatever, but now it doesn't feel like burning. Like it does not feel bad.
Right.
And so I I don't know. It just makes me feel better about my skin. I obviously use the Black Girl sunscreen. I would not buy anything else.
Slay.
But I love it. Also, it goes a long way. Like, I know it was like $15 for that little itty bitty bottle, but I've had that bottle for like legitimately, and this is not sponsored, by the way. I've had that bottle legitimately for like 6 months.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great.
And I don't even think I'm like halfway through because you just use a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my hottie habits, and I've been shopping. So I got these stickers because shit in my fridge has been going bad, and we need to save money. So I bought these stickers so I could Google how long everything is staying in my fridge individually and put stickers on them to see when they're going bad so I can use them.
Slay for you.
Hottie habits.
What you want to slay?
Slay.
And let the slay.
I'm a slay.
I love that for you.
What are your shit, now I'm doing it. Holly
hobbies. What are my hottie habits? I've been reading. I've been reading a lot more. So I have been going to bookstores. I have this book that I'm reading right now. It's called Stories from Berlin by Christopher Isherwood. He is probably the most prolific, or one of the first openly gay writers in I don't know if in America would count, because he's one of the most he's not American, he's British, but it is about his time in it's about his time in the Weimar era in the 20s and 30s, Berlin, chronicling his time there. It is the basis of the story of Cabaret, the musical. But I've been taking that book to like Central Park or to bookstores and putting in my headphones and just reading, and I feel like a hot girl. I'm like, this is incredible. I understand why people read books now, because it's not for knowledge, it's for hot people. It's for feeling hot. I'm like, wow, this mysterious person just reading a book. Oh my god, it's such a big book. He's got such a big brain. Maybe I should go over and talk to him about this book, or maybe I should just like admire him reading a book because he seems so smart. I get it. And I and I feel, and I and will do for the rest of the time that I'm reading that book. What's funny about reading a book, our dear friend Randy Jackson, and I said this on the last time we recorded this, but I think it's a really funny story. That Randy and I were talking one time, and he was like, Zach, and Randy was my roommate for years, and one of my closest friends, and he was like, Zach, I know you're smart, but I just, for some reason, don't think you know how to read. And this was before the whole Leah Michelle thing came out, or that, he was like, he was like, I know that you read because you have scripts, and I know you can write because I've seen you write, but I just don't imagine that you know how to read. So he made up this whole story about how he didn't think I knew how to read, even though he knew I was smart. And so the ironic sense is
I still believe that.
Yeah, is the ironic sense now is that I'm reading, and that's a hot girl thing.
I mean, I still believe that about Leah Michelle, not you. That girl cannot read.
100%. No, she can't.
She cannot read. Listen, somebody was like, on her Instagram, if it's a caption, like with words, it's her team. And if it's an emoji, it's her. And if it's an emoji and words, it's a collaboration.
Do you know, have you ever seen, like, anytime she posts a TikTok, somebody, like, people will say the words, be like, oh my god, great job, and then in parentheses, they'll put the emojis. That kills me.
Read.
It kills me.
I've never seen that lady read. If she can read, okay.
Blink twice if you can read, Leah Michelle.
Blink 4 times. Actually, no, I'm gonna write it out on a piece of paper and put it up to the screen.
Right. It's very funny. That's just a very funny conspiracy. So anyway, that's what I'm doing for my hot. And also taking better care of my skin. Which,
good, as you should.
But also, and I don't know if you feel this way. So when I was, 19, or even 16, when I was like 16, because, and our podcasters can't really see it, but if you've looked at my face, like I have so many, they're wrinkles, but they're dimples all along my face, on my forehead, whatever. I've had those since I was, I can remember, I've always had a very old looking face when I was a kid. And so when I'm 19, people would always ask if I was like 24, 25. Now that I'm 26, I get like people will ask me if I'm 21. You know, I keep getting carded at bars.
You do look a lot younger.
Which is weird to me, but you know, I'm also. It's one of those things where it's like I've slimmed out a lot since I've been, you know, and so my face looks smaller, but also my skin and has not been any different. You know, my skin has stayed the same, my look has stayed the same, my hairline has stayed the same, and I don't know. It's weird. Now that I'm 26, I'm getting, oh, are you 21? Can you even be at this bar? It's like, I can be. And actually, I've been able to be here for a while now.
Stop.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But also, and this is the thing I was going to get into, was, and I don't know how you feel about aging or old age or whatever. I see so many people, especially here in New York, that have so much, like, they're trying to keep themselves young. They have so much filler that, you know, like, get the things that you want to make yourself feel happy. You know, that's all that we should be doing or whatever else. I, however, because I've lived with such an old face for my entire life and I've always been, I've always had these wrinkles, I'm not necessarily afraid of the prospects of just, like, having them permanently or just getting older, because I've always just felt older, I've always looked older. And so it's like, it's one of those things, like, if I didn't have my hair anymore, I think I don't know what I would do. I think if I lost my hair, I would have to get a hair transplant, because I've always lived with such long and big hair, always had such curly hair, and it's always been such like a staple of me.
Yeah, like who you are.
Right, but like the wrinkles on my face and the old age that I've always had has never been an issue, because I've always lived with it. It's kind of just one of those things that, like, I also have eczema. And I have it really bad in my scalp, and it hurts. And so I've just and I have it on my arms too, especially, like, so I shave my arms. That's another haughty thing that I do.
Why do you shave your arms?
I hate body hair. Like, that's another thing that people don't know about me.
But your arms, though?
Yeah, so I shave my arms.
That's going to make it grow back thicker.
No, it's not. I've been shaving them for months now.
How often do you shave your arms?
I don't know. I probably shave them every, like, 2 or 3 months. You know, the last time I shaved was probably, like, 3 weeks ago.
Girl, stop shaving your arm hair.
No, it makes me feel good.
Why,
it makes me feel.
Though?
It makes me feel good. I like putting lotion on it afterwards. Like, and I shave my legs too. It just, I don't know. Again, I don't like body hair.
You don't like body hair?
No. So, like,
why?
unless it's, I don't know. It's just a thing that I don't like on myself. And, like, people can have it. You know, I've been with people that have body hair. Fine, whatever. Like, doesn't necessarily bother me. But on myself, I just don't really like it.
You just don't like it.
Yeah, but when I shave my arms, you can see the patchier parts of my eczema. But I've just always lived with it. So it's just one of those things, like, it doesn't bother me very much, other than, like, it's irritating. But it's like, but sometimes people will feel my arm and be like, wow, that's a really rough arm. I'm like, yeah, I know, and I'm sorry about that. But I've always had it, so it doesn't bother me. But, you know, other people, if they've never had eczema or psoriasis before, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. They would be terrified of it. Or if they've never felt what old age is like, they would, you know, they're probably terrified of looking old age. So. Well,
I'm actually not terrified of, like, I'm not, well, also, I know I'm not gonna look that old, like.
Right. I've seen your mother.
If you know, you know.
Right.
Everybody thinks my mom is, like, way younger than she actually is. And just to me, that is what, like, her age looks like. Like, that specific number. Like, I don't know. But I know I'm not gonna end up looking that much older than I do now, so I'm not too worried about it. But even if I did, even if I had, like, shitty eating habits and I, like, let myself go or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I know I'm supposed to age. I don't really understand. I mean, I guess I understand the chasing young, like, skin looking and fountain of youth looking, whatever, but honestly, like, I don't have the time. Like, I just want to sorry, this thing started going off. It just doesn't appeal to me. I want to see, like, how I change and stuff, and, like, when my hair goes full gray, which should be happening any year now. But, like, stuff like that, like, those changes, those are things that I'm, like, ready for, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind aging as long as like my body, as long as I can still lift heavy in the gym. I don't care.
I totally feel that. I surprisingly haven't. I thought I would be much grayer than I am, which I guess has been a blessing. But yeah,
what do you mean by that?
I thought that my hair would get so much grayer, like by the time I was 20 or 20.
Why is it a blessing? Because I have gray hair.
Because I like having darker hair. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I think gray hair is disgusting. Amari, you look awful with your gray hair. I'm glad that we can have an open forum about this. I don't care if your skin doesn't change. I don't care if you get any bigger or smaller, but your hair has always looked awful that it's been graying. This is an intervention. So you're welcome.
Ungray.
Yeah, I really, please ungray your hair. Please, like, fix it. Fix it, Jesus.
Yeah. Stop, not okay.
Gray what you want to gray, and let the gray. No, your hair looks great. No, I just like having dark hair. I like having brown hair. I like having, it's close to black, actually, but it's just really dark brown.
I think you should do platinum blonde.
I am terrified to color my hair. I am terrified of coloring my hair.
Well, you can always just shave it. But you're like emotionally attached.
I'm so a bit because when I didn't have it, like I've always had big hair. I've always had curly hair, but I've never had it to where it's like where it is now. Like my parents, growing up, because my parents are very white, and I would only go to like not Mr. Good Sense, fucking sandwich shop. Yeah, I would actually get my hair cut, like the meat slicer in the back of Mr. Good Sense. No, there was a Great Clips, and there was a sports Clips, and there was Fantastic Sam's. That's where I always went because my mother, like that's where my mom went. She'd be like, "Oh, anybody can cut your hair." I'm like, "Sure." So I always kept it really short. I always had Head and Shoulders, and it just was not a good look. And I had massive amounts of dandruff. And when I turned 23. I was 21 when I started really letting my hair grow out. When I first did it for falsettos, and when I was 21, I let it grow out a little bit. It got really nice and curly, and then I buzzed it all off. And then when I was 23, living in the pandemic, and I just let my hair grow into a giant afro, and then I cut it all off. That's when my hair really started to like take shape and have really nice volume, and so my hair actually started to look good finally. I've always hated what my hair was for so long. So I was really, I'm very attached to it. I love my hair now. I've had such a really bad hair journey for so long. And and that's not to say that like, this is invalidating people that don't have hair or people that like don't want their hair. This is my journey with my hair.
For real. If you take offense to this, actually, you're on the list of stupid bitches.
Yeah, you're on the stupid bitches.
Like, not everything is about you, girl.
Yeah, but so I am attached to my hair. So I'm very nervous about coloring my hair because I'm like, what could happen? Like you are stripping the natural oils out of your hair. You are stripping the natural color out of your hair, and you are putting chemicals on it. I mean, already that's regardless of what it is, it's already damaging your hair. So I just I don't know what the possibilities of chemical damage could do to my hair. So I really don't want to test it. I'd love to wear. I could definitely wear a wig, and actually, I do have because my headshots have hair, or my hair is a little longer in my headshots, and so I actually have a wig that I bought that is longer than what my actual hair is. So that way, if I need to go in for something with longer hair, I just throw on my wig, and it looks identical to what my hair actually does look like when it's longer. It is definitely, it's an afro. And slay. I went to a disco the other day, and I thought about buying another wig while I was at the disco. To get ready for the disco, and I was like, do I really want to buy hair that's longer now. Because, like, in an audition room, it's fine, because if you look at my headshot and then you see my hair, it's like, okay, you really probably couldn't tell. But for people that don't know what my hair looks like when it's really, really long, or in a giant fro and I'm wearing a wig to a disco, I don't want them to think that I'm just appropriating that kind of hair.
Yeah.
But I don't have the energy to be like, to pull up a photo of what my hair looks like and be like, no, this is what my actual hair looks like. It's just for the disco, blah, blah, blah. And then when I actually go to other discos like Funky Town and I see people in those giant afros, I'm like, wow, I'm actually offended by this.
So, it's so, like, I mean, it doesn't, the Patrick Mahomes, like, hats that they have don't really bother me as much as those big afro wigs do. Stop buying those big afro wigs for Halloween or whatever the fuck you want to do. Throw them away. Throw them away. My life.
Right. They're not pleasant. They look like clown wigs.
They look like shit.
They look like shit. It's not even the fact that they're appropriating. They're just ugly. Please throw them away.
Exactly. And I feel the same way, like, about box braids. Like, I don't even care. Okay.
I feel that way about children.
Controversial take. I don't care if people, whatever, wear box braids, like, whatever. Like, we all know they're box braids, and if you try to pass them off as something else, you're also on the list. Don't try to rename box braids or any African styles that you want to put in your head. Don't do it, because you're an idiot. Second of all, I don't care that they wear them as long as they give credit where credit is due. But also, it looks bad. Y'all look terrible. Stop doing it. You look bad. That's another reason. I don't even think people are mad about the actual box braids half the time. It's because they look like shit. They look terrible.
I was in a coffee shop the other day and I saw a white woman with box braids in, and I like thought to myself, I'm like, it's not me to question the background of this person, so I'm not going to say anything. But you don't really look that good with these box braids in. So
the girls that get it. Even if you got a little black in you, even if you got the ancestry, it will look good. If the ancestors know it's not meant for you, you're going to look like shit. Trust me.
Right.
Because y'all be walking around and it looks terrible, like, for real.
The ancestors know? The ancestors know?
They know. They give you the they give you the ick, honestly, when you do those styles and don't know how to do them.
Right. You can feel it. It does segue us into our next topic, which is weekly media.
Weekly media!
So that means that it's media that we're consuming weekly, whether that be a new book, a TV show, a movie, a song, or otherwise. I did talk about the book that I was consuming, and you did just talk about the Kardashians. So why don't we talk about something? Why don't we talk about a different thing?
Got you. Okay, so some weekly media that I have been consuming, other than the Kardashians, I don't know. Like, I would say, Extreme Sisters, maybe, on Discovery Plus. Like, I've been on a Discovery Plus kick, and, like, not only that, but I've been watching this show called Grown in Gospel, which is actually unhinged. I found it when I was scrolling through YouTube TV, because I like to watch the news at night.
Of course.
And I was scrolling through YouTube TV afterwards. And I was looking at, like, Love After Lockup, but there was a show, like, right before it, so I had to watch that first. I love Love After Lockup. I'm not gonna lie. We gotta talk about that one, too. But Grown in Gospel is about these kids of, like, gospel legends. Like, if you black, you know, like, Donnie McClurkin, what's his name? Oh, where does that go? Oh, there you are. So, you know, you disappeared. I was like, so, you know, like, Donnie McClurkin and, like, all the, like, big gospel people that I can't think of their names right now. But their kids are, like, the center of this show, and they're all, like, wanting to do music and all this stuff. And, like, I recognize all the big names and stuff, like their parents, but I didn't recognize the kids at all. Except one of them was on The Four, and he had, like, a stare down with P. Diddy. Like, he was like, I'll have to show you it. And I binge watched the 4 episodes of that show that were actually out, and oh my god, like, I don't understand. Like, it was so weird, but I love it, and I'm gonna watch it.
My media for this week, I talked about Yellow Jackets coming back on season 2 of Yellow Jackets. If you've never seen Yellow Jackets, it's incredible. It's on Showtime. I love it. I talked about the book that I was reading. So I'll talk about the two things, actually, media-wise, that I have been consuming. The first one is I've been going back through Modern Family, because I think I own every season on DVD of Modern Family, and I don't think I've watched past season 4 or 5. Not to say that I don't like the show a lot. I used to collect DVDs like nobody's business, and the show's on Hulu, so I was like, I'll just rewatch it. So I started I think I'm almost done with the first season of the show, and it's hilarious. It's very funny. It's a lot more racist than I remember it being.
I'm so dead.
But it's good. It's a great season of television, and I remember, and maybe you, Amari, were too young for this, but I remember 2009 was peak television. I mean, but in the awards show season, Modern Family was up against one television show in most awards categories for comedy series.
Was it Glee?
It was Glee. Isn't that crazy? Modern Family ended up winning the Emmy Award for Best Comedy Series, but Glee won the Golden Globe. It won the SAG Award for Best Ensemble. Glee won the acting awards over Modern Family for the first year. I don't remember. No. In the Emmy Awards, and I think the Golden Globes, I think they Jane Lynch won for supporting, and Eric Stonestreet won for supporting as well. But like Glee won for directing, it won for writing. I mean, Glee was the top, but it also, like, that was the first year of Parks and Rec. That was the first year of Community. That was when The Office.
So many firsts.
Yeah, that
year.
was when The Office and The Big Bang Theory were really popular. 30 Rock was really, like, the NBC lineup that year was really, really popular. But Modern Family is a great TV show. It gets me in the feels. It's very sweet. But I also love the, like, family's what you make of it kind of stories. So I'm always big into that. And then also I've been going back through specifically the album I Am, that I've been going back through the Earth, Wind and Fire discography. Because I want to go to their concert. Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind and Fire are performing at Madison Square Garden, like, right before my birthday, and I really want to go because I love Earth, Wind and Fire, and I like Lionel Richie, and so I'm like, I should go to that. So I'm going back through all their discography and be like, absolutely. I Am has some of the best like lead-ins to an album from the first song to the second track. Like, it is choral and beautiful, and people are really sleeping on the rest of the Earth, Wind and Fire songs. I know most people only know.
Dude, I love Earth, Wind and Fire. Fantasy, I Can't Let Go.
I Can't Let Go. It's one of those things, like, I know people know September. I know people know Boogie Wonderland. I know people love Star. But, like, sing a song, rock that, In the Stone. What are y'all waiting for? You know, like, stop sleeping on this stuff.
It's so good. Like, it's just I know they were high. Like, they had to be.
They had to be. And that's okay.
Whatever give me what they were having, waitress.
Whatever they're on, I'll take 2 of them.
I want it.
Right.
I'll take 5. Maybe not 5. Because I'm scared. That's why I'm so scared to do, like, shrooms and stuff, because I'm scared I will see, like, spiders or something.
I have not been somebody that consumes drugs regularly. I'm not even, like, I don't know how many people consider, like, marijuana a drug, but I also just don't consume that on any sort of regular basis, and that is the
Except
furthest.
with me, when we have a good time.
Well, we have never been high together. We have never used
Yes,
marijuana.
we have. Yes, at the SpongeBob party in Maggie's outside basement.
Oh, in the garage?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't remember that, but I believe that it happened.
It was so funny.
I believe that happened.
I remember thinking, this bitch is a good time.
I've always thought that about you. Thank you.
But we were just like, I don't know, like everything you said would crack me up.
And that's why we needed to start this podcast. And now, so I guess what you're saying is we need to get high and then talk to each other.
When you come here, we'll record an episode and we'll hotbox my car.
Oh my God. Okay. But I'm not a marijuana user by any regular, and that's that is the only thing that I've ever used or done. Because I'm so.
I know bitches that did like Molly and Coke.
I've known so many people that have done so many things, and I know that some people get addicted to it. I don't even vape because I know people that are addicted to vaping.
Oh my God.
I have such
throw those cancer sticks away.
Right. And I have such an addictive personality that I'm so nervous about the prospect of any sort of like drug entering my body, because I'm like, I don't know what that's going to do to me. I don't know
exactly
how that's going to make me feel, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be addicted to it, because like I get high off of sugar. Like I have sugar highs all the time. Like if I eat way too much candy, or if I have like 2 sodas, I'm done for. And that as somebody that loves sugar, and as somebody that like my hips will 100% tell you I love sugar, it's a problem, and that's why I don't drink very, very frequently. I used to have some baller parties, and I would unfortunately drink way too much of those. But I also didn't, I didn't have. And
then you would start flipping.
Yes, I would also do gymnastics in the front yard. But
I love that about you.
That I was a gymnast for 10 years.
Know that you get drunk and start flipping.
Yeah. I'm like that.
At my housewarming, I better see a double tuck.
No.
A double back tuck.
But it's like that frog from Hoodwinked, where they're like, why did they call you Mr. Flippers? And it's because he was doing disco and then does the flip into the splits. That's me. I'm Mr. Flippers. I'm
the goat. Did I
be prepared. And unless you got, I might also be the rabbit, the one that's like, and you, Keith, darn it, change your name, please. Like, I'm not scared. It's like, Keith, watch out for Keith. Oh my God!
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna go smoke and watch that movie.
It's such a funny movie. The animation is awful. I got horns to open bottles and I got horns to hold my keys. It's a great romp.
Real.
But what is on our goodbyes? I think what's fun. I think what we should do on our goodbyes. Expect this podcast to come out, whenever. We'll do it weekly. We record usually every Monday night.
A few days, maybe like 2.
When the files don't get corrupted. So expect the podcast every week. We record on Mondays and then expect it throughout the week. If you ever want to be a guest or you want us to talk about things, please tell us. Be like, just text me. Text Amari. DM us.
Not too much.
Not too much. Please don't do it too much. I think something to kind of close it out is, what do you hope that people will know about you from this podcast? Like, what do you think there is something, or is there something that you're like to take away from? And I think we can do this every week. To take away from this whole episode, what is something you want people to know about you?
I think my takeaway for the week is maybe, I don't know. I just want people to know that I have passion. Like, I love, like, for everything. And I even have a passion for, like, whatever, like, being funny or whatever. Like, I just have, like, I'm a passionate person. And I truly believe everything that comes out of my mouth. I truly believe. And I said what I said. And, like, like, that's it. Like, I'm me. That's what I want you to know. This is me for real.
I love that. If I could have people, if there's something that I want people to know about me throughout this podcast, no matter how long the podcast stays up, or no matter how much we do this podcast, from the takeaway, just from being able to communicate with you and be able to talk about stuff that I don't really talk about with a lot of people, but I think that is fun is I want people to know that, much like Amari, this is a lot like me, and I have a lot of anxieties about things like this. But what I want people to know is that there is, regardless of if you think that there isn't, there's an act, like there's the person that you probably know or think you know, and then there's an actual human being underneath that has a lot of emotion, that loves to be able to talk about themselves, but also wants you to kind of understand them. You don't have to like that. You don't have to like the person. You can stop listening at any time. And I think that goes for both Amari and myself. But if you want to get to know us, and if you want to get to know who we are, listen to the podcast. Because I think that we both have this, we have both kind of posited and positioned ourselves in a way that distances, and maybe you don't feel this way, Amari, but I know I feel this way, where I have felt I feel distant from a lot of people. Like, a prime example is having a license plate with myself on it, or the like shirt with my face on it, or even naming a theater company after myself. And the idea that I'm so egotistical that I do all these things, and I want people to know that that's not real. That's not a real person.
It's just like you're trolling, whatever.
Right, exactly. I'm fun. But I would love people to look at that and then.
Do people actually think you're egotistical? Because
yes, that is the number one thing that I hear. That's the number one thing that I hear from people. That if anybody ever talks about me, it is that he's an egotistical.
Add them to the list.
No, but I play into it. I think it's funny. I'm just like, yeah, I am egotistical.
It's also obviously just a joke.
Well, I get that.
God.
Right, I think that I know that it's a joke. Some people don't, and that's okay. Especially when it first started, when I first started doing this thing. Yeah, a lot of people are stupid.
Actually, don't.
But if people care to, I'd love for them to listen to this podcast and just get to know us a little bit more. I think that we are cool people, Amari. I think that you're cool people. And I've always thought that. I come off
a little more passive aggressive than I'd like to. Maybe just more aggressive in general, but
that's what they think. That's on them, not you.
Right.
Right. What are they going to do about it? And
for real, they can't shoot me.
They can't what?
Shoot me.
They can definitely try.
You a miss. I'm so quick.
I love talking to you.
Slay what you wanna slay, and
let the words slay.
Y'all heard that low note though?
No, I didn't. Oh yeah, it was great.
Stop. Okay, so is this our goodbyes? Are we leaving today?
Are we? I thought so. I mean, that's kind of the end. We got through all of our topics. Yeah. I was kind of emotional.
Yeah, it was towards the end there.
Yeah. So, goodbye.
While we didn't record an official or formal conclusion to this week's episode, we want to thank you all so much for listening to and or watching our very first episode of Talk and Be Funny. Check back next week for a new episode, and don't forget to share us on your socials and like us on Apple Music. Toodles!